Today, on D&D with Dad, we learned to paint, our first ever miniatures, with the Reaper Bones Learned Paint Kit Core Skills. Join us. Welcome to D&D with Dad. I'm Dad.
And I'm Evan.
And today we're going to be painting our very first miniature.
So join us in this video and let's hop in.
This kit is awesome. It comes with absolutely everything you need to get started. It's got 11 different paints. It's got 3 miniatures. It's got 2 paint brushes. And it's got an awesome instruction booklet written by Rhonda Bender. It's got step-by-step instructions taking you through the entire process. It's got incredible photos that show you not just what the miniature should look like at the end of that step, but it's even got pictures of what consistency your paint should be for certain techniques, and even how to hold your brush for some of those specialized techniques. It's pretty incredible.
It really is.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take you on our whole journey through this kit. You're going to follow along in this video as we paint the first miniature, and future videos will have additional miniatures. There's 2 more in the set besides the skeleton.
Which is the Orc and the Dark Knight.
That's right. And also at the end of this video, we're going to give you our review of what we think about the kit. One important note about the footage you're about to see. When we first got started, we just had the one kit. So Evan started with the skeleton and I began with the Orc. We both wanted to go through all 3 miniatures and learn this process from start to end. So we bought a second kit. And then halfway through, you're going to see us both working on the skeleton. And then going forward, we'll both be doing the same thing. We're absolute beginners at this. I'm sure we've got an awful lot to learn. So what we'd love you to do is let us know in the comments where we could have done something differently, some suggestions on techniques, paint colors. This is the first of many, many miniatures. We're hooked. So just let us know. We love to learn.
And also, if you're enjoying this video even a little bit, it really helps and supports us if you subscribe and hit that bell button so you can get notified of our new videos.
So, you ready to get started?
Let's go!
Let's get painting! So the first step when we get started is actually to wash the miniatures with soap and water. They still have some release agents on the mold and some additional chemicals, and so to get the best paint job, it helps to wash them. Now this step's really boring, so we're not going to show you the footage, not to mention my bathroom's a mess.
I don't tell them that. Shh. The next step is to add the base coat. This kind of sets the general color of the area you're doing. We're going to start with the bone base coat just to start with. So that's going to set the main color of the bones.
So the next step was to apply a wash to the base coat we just did. The job of the wash is to darken everything up, and it oozes into the cracks and brings the shadows out. Third step is actually a dry brush. As the name implies, you start with a dry brush, you dip it in the paint, and then you wipe most of the paint off. This then allows you to dust color on. And we do the first dry brushing with the original base coat color that we did to restore the brightness to the high surface areas.
Adding the dark areas already made a large amount of contrast, but the dry brush is going to put a thin layer on the higher bits to give it that one extra burst of contrast between the deep parts and the tall parts.
The fourth and final painting step is to actually do another dry brush, but this time we're doing it with a highlight color. We're going to pick a color similar to the base coat, but 1 or 2 shades lighter. And then we're going to dust that on again, but only at the highest points to give the effect of light gleaming off of the high edges, off the top of the skull of the skeleton or off his knee bone. So after that, it was just a matter of repeating the same 4 steps on each different area of the skeleton, such as the bow, the metal tips on the bow, the quiver on his back, the arrows in the quiver. It's the same 4 steps over and over. It's the base coat, it's the wash, it's the base coat dry brush, and the highlight dry brush. And you just keep doing it over and over. And those are kind of the core skills. The manual tells you exactly which paints to use for each of those different things, including how to mix paints when you're mixing 2 together to get another color. It really made it super easy for us to do our first miniatures without having to know too much.
It really did.
So, you guys ready to see the results?
Yep.
Should we show them?
Let's go.
So, how about we give some thoughts, some lessons learned, and a review of the actual kit?
Yeah.
So tell me, what did you think of your paint job when you were done?
I actually really liked it. There were only 2 things that I noticed that I didn't like. 1 was my own fault, and 2 was my own fault. The first one is I thought one of the shoulder bones was part of the leather strap, so I painted that. You can see that. And also, once we got the close-up shots with the finale that you just saw, I noticed that I got lots of teeny weeny, normally unnoticeable splotches of paint everywhere. But otherwise, the kit was absolutely amazing, telling you what consistencies of paint, what mixes of paint, how to hold your brush, and just a whole load of other stuff that's really helpful.
Yeah, I really was surprised. I have really shaky hands. I have really bad eyesight, being old. And I thought there was no way I was going to achieve the results I did. I was absolutely dumbfounded by how well I was able to paint a miniature. So I highly recommend, if you've been thinking about trying to paint miniatures, but you've been worried about being able to do it, just don't worry anymore. Just start, because you're going to be absolutely amazed.
Go.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, and it's a great, relaxing thing to do. As far as lessons learned for me, there was a little blurb in the book about not worrying about making mistakes, because you can paint over your mistakes. And you can paint over a miniature 5-6 times before you even start to see the detail going away. So you can just fix mistakes as they happen. And if you really start to lose detail, you can actually strip all the paint off very easily. You just soak it in some simple green for a day, and that'll strip all the paint off, and you can start over again. Finish doing all 4 steps on all the different areas of the miniature, and then I was taking one final look at it, and I noticed I had gotten paint in an area I didn't mean to. I got some green paint on his bones, and you just pick that area out and go through the same 4 steps that you did when you painted it the first time, and it's like you never made that mistake. It just disappears. So that advice was fantastic, and it really gives you the freedom of, if you make a mistake, so what? You'll get back to it. You let the paint dry and you go back and you fix it. And to me, that was so enlightening. And once I did it the first time, it was like,
it's just magic eraser.
Yeah, exactly. It's like magic eraser, because you can go fix anything.
Yeah, it really helped for me too. I had multiple spots where it splodged paint on the boat. I'm just like, just base coat, wash, dry brush, other dry brush, done, fixed. Like it was never there.
And the other thing that I found really helpful was, in the book they told you to specifically make sure you look at each area you're painting from all different angles. And that really showed me some things that I missed, because you think you've completely painted an area, and then you look at it from the bottom and you see a whole bunch of gray plastic that you completely missed. So that was really good advice too, and something that didn't come naturally to me, so I'm glad they pointed it out. One of the funniest moments when we were painting was actually my son thought the skeleton had a, quote, turd nugget coming out of its bum. I guess they hadn't done anatomy yet in school, and he didn't know that was the coccyx, the end of the spine at the bottom. All right, so let's get to the part that everybody's really probably waiting for. Let's do our review of the Reaper Bones Learn to Paint Core Skills Kit. So let's start with you, Evan. What would you give your honest review of the kit?
It's absolutely amazing. First, you can just open it and start doing it. You have everything you need other than like basic household objects that you can just easily grab. So you don't have to buy any weird special equipment to start doing things. Like, we did get special stands that helped, but at the start you could see us just tacking it onto some
prescription bottles. Yeah.
Which was a tip in the book, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good tip. If you didn't have those special stands we got.
Mm-hmm.
The instructions were absolutely amazing. They told you everything, how to do it, how to hold your brush right, how to brush on the dry brushes and the wash. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, Evan kind of covered everything I was going to say. From a way to learn how to paint, I can't recommend this enough. The kit, like he said, has everything you need. It's got both paintbrushes, 2 different paintbrushes, 11 paints, 3 models, and the instruction booklet. And the instruction booklet makes this kit what it is. Rhonda Bender outlined things in such a clear way. It was almost like she was standing there teaching you how to paint as you go. The written steps alone were so well written, but then supported by the incredible photos in the instruction booklet, there was nothing that you had to figure out yourself. It taught you, and that's the other big thing. It didn't just teach you how to paint a miniature, it taught you how to paint miniatures, in that it gave you the 4 skills you need to paint any miniature. And then it handheld you through 3 of the miniatures, but then you can take those skills you just learned and apply them to any miniature that you want to paint.
Or just any stuff in general, like if you're building a castle or brick wall or
Yep.
whatever you're building, you can still apply those 4 core skills to it.
That's right. Yep, those skills are the same things you'd use to paint terrain. So yeah, you're really learning the skill set involved in painting the miniatures rather than just how to paint these 3 miniatures. And that alone is worth every penny. The miniatures you get are high quality, so you're not going to be disappointed. So even if you don't happen to play D&D or you don't need an Orc Marauder,
brag to your friends.
Yeah, exactly.
I did this. Tiny little Evan did this.
That's right. He really did, and he did a beautiful job of it too. And you know, I mentioned this in the beginning of the video. If you're on the fence about getting started, because you're worried about, you know, whether you're able to do it or knowing how to do it or being too confusing, this kit makes all of that go away. Yep.
Don't know what else to say.
Yeah, so bottom line, don't even think about it. Just head to the link down below. There's an Amazon affiliate link in the description where you can pick up this kit and get started yourself.
Yeah.
It'll cost you the same amount of money and it'll help support this channel, so we greatly appreciate it. So if you really enjoyed this video and you'd like to see us make more, there are a few different ways you can support us. The first way is you can join our Patreon community. There's a link down in the description. There are several different tiers that you can join us at, and at certain tiers you can even get our branded D&D with Dad wash. We're giving away bottles to the first 50 supporters at those tiers. Yep. You also get access to Patreon-only content, a Patreon-only social community on Facebook and Discord.
In the description below, we have Amazon affiliate links to everything we use, including the kit itself, all the painting tools we use, the equipment we have, like these lights, cameras, tripods, this green screen.
What green screen? There's a green screen?
Yeah, we're totally not in a flying truck in the middle of space exploding.
Yeah, and the third way you can support us is to visit the D&D with Dad merchandise store. There's a link again down in the description where you can get really cool swag with the D&D Beyond logo, such as our t-shirts, there's mugs, there's tote bags, there's pillows. So once again, I'm Dad.
And I'm Evan.
And thank you very much for watching D&D with Dad. See you next time.
Bye!
That's That's not your
I
line.
was waiting till you finished, okay? Go.
Let's be miniature painters.
Let's do a cool zoom spin transition.
Or as the old guy would say, let's go to the videotape. Yes. And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.